of the Harwich Mariners.
We go to the second inning here at Whitehouse Field. The Red Sox lead the Mariners 1-0 in the early stages of this one. Mike Bovey, Caden Connor, Drew Bowser due up for YD here in the top of the second. Sam Lebowitz alongside Carlo Jimenez. Back to the mound goes Eric Reyzelman, the LSU right-hander, who walked the leadoff hitter in the first and allowed him to score eventually on a sacrifice fly. Didn't allow a hit in that first inning, but the run does come across. First one to Mike Bovey, a fastball that misses just up and away for ball one. Bovey's been struggling as of late. The Omaha, Nebraska slugger is averaged down to 246. The 1-0 is a fastball called strike. Mired in a 3-for-30 slump over his last 10 games. Trying to work his way out of it. DHing today. Here's a 1-1. Foul tipped and back to the screen. Eric Reyzelman has had an interesting journey to the Mariners. This is his second season, a little bit more of a comfortable place in his career after transferring from the University of San Francisco to LSU. 1-2, fastball well high at 93. But the journey to this point in his career was a bit of a turbulent one. In the middle of his freshman season at the University of San Francisco, he underwent Tommy John surgery. Here's a 2-2. Swing and a foul tip held by the catcher Gassetti. Second strikeout for Reyzelman as Bovey set aside.
Now batting for the Red Sox, the right fielder.
After really finding a groove as a freshman, touching 96 off a mound in game for the first time. Shortly thereafter, he underwent Tommy John surgery and returned to the mound for opening day his sophomore season just 10 months later. It took about 10 and a half months for him to get back in a game, which, if you're not familiar, usually about a 12 to 18 month timetable to get back in a game after Tommy John surgery. But as he put it, it was too soon. Here's Caden Connor, first pitch, fastball up and away. Reyzelman sits in the mid-90s now, a lot of 93 so far today, but when he came back from Tommy John surgery in his sophomore season for San Francisco, he was mostly 88 to 90, and he had trouble maintaining it and locating it. His shoulder strength wasn't up to par because he came so quickly back from surgery. 1-0 to Caden Connor. Fastball away. Count 2-0. It led to a season in which he struggled. Struggled so mightily, in fact, that Wareham rescinded their offer for him to come play for them last summer. So how did he wind up in Harwich, you ask? Here's a 2-0. Upstairs, count 3-0. After he lost his contract on the Cape, he went out to Southern California and just worked on getting stronger and getting to a place where he could comfortably maintain his velocity, even if he was going to be a guy who only threw about 90. And it happened. It worked for him. As here's a 3-0 to Connor. A fastball strike down the middle. He got a call from Harwich, who offered him a spot on their roster as a temp in early July of last summer, about halfway through the summer season. He took it. He came out to Cape Cod and joined the Mariners. This was after he joined the transfer portal. 3-1, swing and a miss. Fastball by Caden Connor. Count runs full with one out here, nobody on base. He had entered the transfer portal, found his way on Cape Cod with a different team than the one he initially signed with, that being the Mariners. In his first outing on Cape Cod was a relief outing against the team that had dropped him, against Wareham. As here's a 3-2. Foul tipped back. And he was amped up in that outing. Came on with guys on base, struck out his first two hitters, felt his fastball was coming out of his hand as good as it had since he came back from surgery. He felt he was throwing harder than he had on a mound in a game since before surgery. Here's a 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Fastball running away. Back-to-back strikeouts in 3 in a row for Reyzelman dating back to last inning. Caden Connor set aside. 2 out, nobody on. Here's Drew Bowser.
Number 8, Drew Bowser.
But despite how good he thought it was coming out of his hand, the velocity reading only said 88 and 90 on those fastballs. He thought maybe the gun was cold. Carson Seymour came out next for Harwich, throwing 96-97. First pitch to Drew Bowser, slider misses away. Seymour, not long after that, was drafted in the 6th round by the Mets, so he figured that if Seymour was coming out throwing his usual upper 90s, the gun wasn't actually hot, and he was disappointed. He thought all of his work had come for really nothing, as the 1-0 is a wave and a miss on a slider away by Bowser. But he goes home that night and gets a call from a Power 5 program's coach who said, "We had scouts at your game last night." As a 1-1 to Bowser is a fastball taken on the outside corner. They said, "We had scouts at your game. You were sitting 95-97. And he was shocked. He wasn't shocked because he knew how hard it felt coming out of his hand, but the radar gun at the stadium said 90. 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Slider in the dirt. Tag applied by Gassetti. 3 strikeouts in this inning for Eric Reyzelman. He struck out 4 in a row. To finish the story, someone had bumped into the radar gun stand when he was on the mound, and by the time Seymour came out for the next inning, so they had fixed it. So it was back to normal. Quite the story for Eric Reyzelman. Got picked up by LSU, and here he is back on Harwich. We head to the bottom of the second. The Red Sox leading the Mariners 1-0 here at Whitehouse Field.